evening. Hey everyone, welcome to the weekly live stream. Let's wait until some people are joining. I hope you're all doing good. I hope you all had a great week and a very productive work day. Good evening, Ruducci. How's it going? Did you have a good day? Yo, Max, welcome to the stream. Good evening. Hey Hannah, welcome to the stream. I hope you all had a great day. I had a good day, very productive. A little bit dizzy, I guess, too much drawing overall, but there's never too much drawing. So I really wanted to continue our stream, and I really wanted to continue the fantasy project. I haven't had really time to do something for myself in terms of drawing and designing and painting and stuff. It was pretty busy those last few weeks, I would say. So those streams are a good opportunity for me to continue the work and just working on my own stuff and chatting with you. What are you doing? Are you drawing, painting, chilling? Let's just wait until a couple more people are joining. What has everyone been doing? More people are joining. Yeah, for me it was a pretty busy day. A lot of designing, a lot of drawing. I hope I still have enough energy to entertain you guys a bit and also just get a little bit of progress on the project. I haven't touched the project since last time we streamed, so I just was looking for more reference, was writing a couple notes, but that's basically everything I've done so far. So we will continue today with doing the studies for the project. We're gonna share my notes with you, and then we will start on studying a certain subject. We have actually a lot to do for the project, so I'm excited to start with that. Studies and a little bit more studies. Yes, that's the grind. All right. I think I'm ready to start. Let's switch the scene. Shoop. So last time we started already on drawing out certain things in terms of ideas, just very rough ideas. Let me bring it up again. I think it was that, yeah. So last time when we started, I just wanted to get the ball rolling without committing too much in terms of like direction. So we just started with those very loose sketches, and you see there's basically nothing in it, no real detail and anything. We were just trying to acquire certain form language from the reference we had and the keywords I was writing down. So afterwards, what I did, I mean, okay, this is obviously not very satisfying, not for me and not for everyone else. So I took some extra time and wrote a couple notes. So when we do certain projects in terms of like, or when I do projects for myself, first I like to write a certain brief. Oh, I have to move that a bit, otherwise you guys can't see that. Hey Saya, what's up? How's it going? I have to move the chat a bit, I guess. me just open the refs. Bam. That's the other ref file. All right. That was the first mood board, where I basically just was collecting more images reference-wise for the form language, for the camera angle, for the vibe. So for the final work, for the final piece, I wanted to go for some sort of very friendly vibe. I had a little bit of Ghibli vibe in my mind. That's why I attached those images here. So a lot of vegetation on top. In terms of camera angle, I wanted something more dynamic and a little bit more dramatic. So basically looking up. And in terms of vegetation, I wanted to have a lot of overgrowth. So something like that. I found those really nice references here. But before we do all that, we of course obviously have to design all that, which of course will take the most time, and I don't want it to rush anything. So I'm basically starting now with all the design sketches, which will take the most time, but I also want to take as much time as I want, because finally we can do some personal stuff. Hey Colin, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Ooh, Max is drawing clothing. Nice. Is it for a class, Max, or is it just for normal stuff? For yourself? Saya, what you doing? What you working on? Hey Lucid, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing good. I hope you all had a good day and a good start in the week. So what we will do now is basically, I just wanted to quickly share the notes with you. Everything I decided on writing down, which should be important for the project. But these notes are 100% not final, of course. I'm also the type of person who changes a lot while working on stuff. So I just wrote a couple stuff down. So first of all, we need some problems we need to solve. So that the stuff we're gonna draw and like the stuff we want to design has a purpose. So that's really important. Otherwise, it can be very shallow. So I wrote down dried up land, lack of water, sea level decrease, or maybe fast switching, like ebb and flow. Maybe it was an island before, so like the ocean level is completely decreased. These are just possible problems for the overall environmental circumstances. Then the location of the city obviously should be on a mountain, or either should be in the center of a valley. So I had a cool idea, maybe it is in the center of a valley, and when the ocean level is increasing, then the city is basically floating. Like it's moving up. That could be a cool idea, but we also have to find out how we find a solution to that problem. In terms of architecture influence, I obviously wanted those European townhouses, which you can find in Bavaria and all those in Germany, for example, like a lot of things I've seen as a kid also, which were very inspiring and have interesting like structures in terms of housing. In terms of material, ship parts, shipwrecks, I left that open. So I also chose sailing ships as a form language and as basically an inspiration for this town. So the idea was basically, it's maybe not a floating town, but it's a town which that's what we also have to figure out, what makes the most sense. It's basically built out of ship parts, shipwrecks, or it is meant to survive in that harsh environment where the sea level can increase every time. Then I just wrote some notes down for possible buildings we can design, like for fishing, tavern, military, forge, or any type of defense. But then we can also find out, okay, what do they have to defense against? And then we have the form language, which are seed pods, which are organic keywords, probably functional, like protected, contain. Then we have aesthetic keywords, shade, hood, hollow, gap, and spread. And for sailing ships, we have unorganic keywords. Keywords are functional, protected, contain, balancing, ship hull, like balancing on water, moving, using the wind, acquiring the wind to generate force, crushing, fishing, and researching. And aesthetic we have separating, defensive, and flowing. And we have a lot of stuff to do. The quality is stuck on 4080p. Really? It should be a 7020 though. Let me quickly check. Usually it's always 7020. Should be 7020. Can you see my face? Hi Cameron, how's it going? Great, I'm fine with a friend. Nice reference panel. Yeah, let me know if the resolution is fine. I don't know why it should be different from last time. Usually it's 7020p. All right, let's get going. So, these are a couple reference I collected. Obviously, we have a lot of architecture. Then also, it's important to find some reference where we see how it could look if the city is on top of a mountain. So, back to the topic of increasing and decreasing sea level. That's definitely interesting to find out. And then obviously a lot of reference for sailing ships. I wasn't like very strict with the type of sailing ship. I guess everything which can inspire me in terms of aesthetic and form and everything could be a great indicator. Hey Celine. Oh, that's kind of weird. I have to double check that with the 4080p. That shouldn't be the case, but maybe something went wrong. I don't know. I guess I can't change it now while we're already streaming. So I will zoom in so you guys can see stuff. But I'm not really sure what's the reason why. All right, so I definitely want to start with those in terms of studies. So I'm basically just picking stuff out which I want. This is nice. I mean, that's kind of cool. Well, I left this top part. So what I'm really looking for is like understanding the structure, how those houses are built, but also like getting the stuff in my head. So when we come to the design part where we combine all of our references and our keywords and everything, that I have an easier time on executing that. Like I'm just now looking also for patterns in the architecture, things which get repetitive, which are just repeat themselves. It's also nice. So I think these are the first sketches I want to make. maybe let's start with that. It's also kind of cool, that kind of tower. I don't know if that's really, European here. Okay. That's kind of cool, yeah. Let's start with that. Actually, I can take that here. I think these are actually miniatures. Boom. Okay. You have the same building reference saved, Max. Yeah, and it's I haven't found so much different references, to be honest, but I also haven't spent too much time on looking for some of them. It's definitely interesting to study those. This is exactly what the city Strasbourg looks like, the city I'm from. Ah, nice. Yeah, I have been to Strasbourg, only for 2 days also. But I remember it was super overcasty day, so you couldn't see much nicely of the city. How's everyone else doing? I see we're getting more people. Welcome everyone else to the stream. I hope you all had a good day. All right. Basically starting with a box here. It's easier to do. But we're turning the camera angle a little bit, so we're basically translating it. So we have a 50-50 almost separation from that mid part. And then we have this edge which is cut out. It's almost on the last. How does it look? Ah, there's actually a gap in between, okay. So let's start with the big blocks. Like that. I'm also curious like how the stream is going today, because I've never streamed under the week, I think. If I can remember properly. Also streaming after a full day of work is kind of interesting. Feeling a little bit crazy on the eyes, to be honest, but it's okay. So if this is that edge here, this goes around. So the only thing what don't like about those references is that I'm not sure how 100% accurate they are. Maybe we also have to look for different references later on. So so we see that this is almost a half. This is starting, so if we divide this plane into an X and then put this in the middle, we see that this is the half of it. So we can say like this upper part here is basically the part with the door, and the lower part here is the part with the staircase and with the window and everything else. But we also need to make sure, because like the photos from I would say like eye level from a person. When we look at this scaling reference here, the scaling person, it's about eye level here. So I'm not 100% sure if there's actually a lens conversion that makes this building more elongated, or if it's actually that elongated. But what seems to be very typical for those houses is that they're not very perpendicular in terms of build. So when you see the angle here, so it's not perfectly perpendicular when you see that. And when we look at other reference, like here for example, you see that they're not perfectly straight. And I think that's also the charming part of those houses. When you look at all the fantasy IPs where they used those European houses. So I came late. Are you redesigning those buildings or doing some studies first? I'm doing the studies for the project, for the fantasy project we started last time. So we are now, I took some extra time to write some notes. I can show you that quickly so you just understand what I'm talking about. So I basically wrote some notes for our fantasy project, which I not will repeat again, but it's basically all the problems I want to solve, all the ideas, all the things which come into my mind for this project. And now we basically, after gathering references, now we start with the study part, as you already know, I guess. So we starting with the study part and basically doing the first couple studies, analyzing stuff which is typical for the architecture, for the images we have chosen. And it feels so good to again work on stuff for myself. Don't get me wrong, video editing is really cool. Making videos and content, everything is really cool, but like all that stuff eats so much time. And like all the prepping for all the videos and script writing and filming and then the editing and everything, it's just eats all my time. So it's so cool to do something for myself again. That's why the whole brainstorm project was pretty cool, because I basically could take time and really focusing on learning new stuff, because I believe like for me the biggest fun is really learning, and I think that never will stop. So I think it's also very important that you always continue to learn, and it doesn't matter at which point in your life you are. So this comes out a little bit. So first we have this edge here, which is actually coming out even more here. Just seeing that. This basically comes out in perspective here, so it's like that. So it's probably also on the other side. I need to make sure it is correct in perspective. I don't know if you guys know that, but when you stare on white background for the whole day, the eyes get so freaking tired. Alright. The scale. This part is actually longer than the mid section So like the roof is just longer. So what we can also do again, we can divide that with the next, make a long line, and we can erase that later on. So like that. Now we see, okay, I was actually wrong on the other side. I mean, we can forgive it for now with straight line. So we just have the ratios correct. And then we basically draw inside of that. Hey Taha, welcome to the stream. How was your day? Yeah, you always draw on a gray background. Yeah, it's actually a good idea to do that. That's actually a good idea. What did you work on, Celine, today? I'm about to start my line drawing too on top of my 3D model mockup. Hey Kikak, welcome to the stream. How's it going? That's nice, Celine. Have you applied for this scholarship program? Nice. What are you drawing? Okay, let's move on. So so this goes a little bit in. So that's basically the part here. And then it goes until the middle, which is about, we go into perspective, a line here, and then the same about that. So we see that comes out. All we do is basically following the perspective. Now this seems to be higher than this part here, this upper edge. I mean, it's looks probably like that. That seems like being higher. But I'm not really sure, to be honest. Because when I look at those, they have some of this double roofing, but again, it's also the thing that can happen when you study miniature and not the original reference. But let's just try to look at the reference to finish this boy up. Alright. So the roof starts about here. It seems like going like this. Okay, those. So I definitely need to get used to the Wednesday streams. My energy level is definitely different from Saturday. By the way, the Saturday stream was so crazy. Thanks everyone who joined. It was really fun. And I had so much response on the stream. Like, people were asking when the next portfolio review session is. I'm not pretty sure, but when it's gonna be, but yeah, we will definitely do that again. What am I doing? That doing good. It's noon here, so still doing assignments. I've write stuff for my marketing class. Oh, nice. Marketing is interesting. Like online marketing or marketing in general? I'm trying to get more work together first. I'm probably gonna apply next week. Gotta post on my ARTSTATION. You have already a post on your ARTSTATION, Celine? Or you will post it? Find the middle. There it is. Let me flip that boy just to see. It looks a little bit off. Yeah, it is a little bit off. It's not correct. I'm gonna leave it though. Next stage is overpaint. No, not yet. The next stage is like painting it wouldn't make much sense for me. It's basically I basically just do a drawing study to get the proportions in and getting a feeling for the architecture style. So when I draw my own designs, that I have a feeling for everything, you know? Like small stuff, like seeing that the roof part is actually longer than the midsection, yeah, small stuff like how are the windows, which patterns are there, all that stuff. It's just like more of like getting a understanding for it. Of course I could paint it, but there's really like, that would be, for me, it would be a lot of waste of time. Just yeah, would just be a waste of time for me. It's also very interesting that this roof comes out, so it's actually here, it's kind of like that. And I like to do those very simplistic perspective drawings, because they really help to get really a feel for the proportion very quickly, and also to make sure everything sits properly in space. And it's also perspective is never wrong to practice. Okay, and then we have this part here. It seems to be like this is a little bit too wide in perspective. But again, I'm so happy just to start a new project on my own. And I hope this project goes very long. So I can spend the most time learning all this stuff. So this doesn't sit right on the edge here. So, and also like if I do those perspective drawings here, and if I decide later on in the project that I want to build a mock-up in 3D for the final painting, then just having the proportions in my head from drawing them out helps immense. But it seems to be the proportions are not right. I mean, again, if I would copy the reference like 1-to-1, I could do that, but the thing is I really want to get the understanding, and sometimes like the scaling can change, and it depends on which eye level you are, from which point you're looking at. Like for example, like if you look at this like you have not a strong conversion in vertical lines here, but here the conversion is definitely here, so you see that here because you look from below. So if I would draw a box around that like this, and then just following the lines like this, basically like that. And that just helps to get really a feeling for it. You can also do that in the beginning. Like what I really like is to draw those X inside, just to find the middle and then separate the space to see, okay, here this is the lower third, that's the mid section. But also like figuring out, okay, where starts and ends the mid section. Then it goes like this. We follow that. That's another side here. And that's the same process as we would build it in 3D, right? So you start with a cube and then you extrude all the planes. And then you have that, and this comes out. It's again another part you extrude. Can be a box again. And if I draw that, it's just basically getting in my head, just to again get the feeling for all the specialties of the architecture build. So like that, this roof is coming out and this is like on top and stuff. And when you take that to the side, like you see the difference. And I basically did not give my drawing such a strong conversion. So now we can actually take that, move that to the side here. Like this. So, but perspective is not quite right here, even though. Why don't you use perspective grids for this? Also, do you think drawing studies like these are more useful, or looking at the picture, trying to draw it from front, side, top, like a diagram, to really understand how it's built? Thanks. Why I don't use perspective grids? Just because I'm too lazy. For me, it's less about making a nice drawing. It's just about an understanding. So even if my drawing is not 100% correct, I will do a lot of studies of those. Like I will draw all of them. So that's just like getting the ratios in and in and in. Yeah, and I'm basically just lazy because I don't want to, again, like I said, I don't want to copy them in terms of 1-to-1. Because then I focus too much on copy the image I see, instead of trying to understand how are they built and what main shapes are there. Does that make sense for you? It's basically a different way of approaching, because like for me, when I did that a lot, like drawing and painting faces from photos, for example, like basically plain studies just to understanding painting and the structure of the face, etc., etc. But what I learned for myself is that I catch myself like really trying to copy the image I see in front of me, and I go in autopilot rather than trying to understand, okay, why is this built like that? Why is there an overlap? Why is this shape coming out, etc., etc. You're welcome. And welcome to the stream. Oops. But also, I think it's actually a good idea that you mentioned the side view, because I completely forgot about that. That is definitely helpful to get the ratio right. So we have the, like, when I have my X and divided planes, etc., etc. It's basically like the part which is coming out is here. Let me move that a little bit along that you guys can see this. So, and again, like, this seems to be that the roofing part is a little bit over the middle roof. Hey Willow Art, welcome to the stream and thanks for the follow. What are you all working on? How is it going? I hope you all had a great what day do we have actually? It's Wednesday. Yeah, did you all had a great Wednesday? I hope you did. By the way, I don't know if you have seen it. I was asking on my Instagram and also in the art community for questions for the character designer I'm gonna interview on the weekend. I gathered a lot of questions already, so I'm really thankful for all you guys' input and girls for all your input to ask, and I have already a lot of interesting questions. So it was definitely a great idea to ask you. So so the door is about here. And then we have this staircase. Yeah, and I mean, we can also speed up the process here, but I actually want to take as much time as I want for this. So this is all staircase here. Staircase, staircase, staircase. Then we have this framing. Then we have this special overlap here. But we also have this gap. And something's coming out like this. And all the internal part we're gonna do later. So this is also about here. The window. Then we have all that stuff here. All the framing we're gonna do later. And we have the chimney. The top part of the chimney looks quite modern. Even though I was looking for vintage references. This is very coming out here. Boom. And then we also have a railing. The railing, yeah. And that's also interesting, yeah, that we have this, like, this type of build for this railing. And it's not coming from the stone. You actually have this special overlap here. Also, it seems like it's not like when I look at it. Unfortunately, the reference is not so high res, but this structure here looks very interesting. Those support beams, like they added later. Like, honey, I need a new space for myself. Can you build it on a roof? It's just added. That's very interesting also. I'm working into front view of my last character painting, try to figure out turnarounds. Oh yeah, turnarounds are tricky. But if you get it once, then you definitely learn a lot. Because it's basically just the same form but changing in space. When I'm trying to come up with new designs, I tend to struggle to pick one iteration because I don't necessarily catch the elements that don't work. Do you have any advice on that? Oh, that's a good question. So what I would do, I mean, the thing is like that this knowledge of knowing what works and what doesn't work, that is something which comes from trial and error and a lot of experience. So like the only advice from this point of perspective, I would say just do a lot of designs and then you get a feeling and understanding for doing it, and also that you understand way quicker what works and what not. But on the point of deciding which design you want to go, I would say always go for stuff that you like, and if you like more than one like certain part, what I do really, I mark all the parts I like and then I just try to find a middle way, you know? Because it like if you have that feeling of you like certain things on your design sketches, then it's very important that you trust yourself to really also to find new designs, but also to find your own design language. I think that's very important for learning and understanding. I managed to work most of the features, but it's like hell to scale properly the cheekbone maxilla structure. You said you do front views, right? So is it like a T-pose or how does it work? Ah, face only. Okay. Now you made a profile view. Yeah, do you have a good reference? Or do you draw it from imagination? I would pick more ref. But then I noticed that I did the cheekbone and different. Yeah, but also like keep in mind that certain things in a front view you don't see necessarily, which you then see in a side view, you know? Like when you look to the side, like things like cheek and chin and forehead and all that stuff comes out when you look in the side view, but you don't see that in the front view necessarily, you know? But I totally understand what you mean. It's really tricky. Do you do it from a reference or do you do it from imagination? Imagination, but I had some reference for the idea. Yeah, I would try to double check your reference. Try to stay closer to the reference then, because anatomy is a nutshell. So that's definitely you can really run into a trap there. So just indicating that stuff here. So we have the beams. The beams are kind of cool. But we also need to speed up a little bit. I'm really super slow today. Okay. So I think we need to move that up a bit. More like this. We need to elongate that a little bit more. Yeah, that's a bit better. Proportion wasn't that right. All right. I also looked at the art community today and I saw that we hit 100 people on the art community. It's also very special. That went pretty fast. And for everyone who's joining the stream right now, if you're not a part of our community, our lovely art community, feel free to join. We are a bunch of friendly artists sharing and caring and helping each other out. Oops. Yeah, that's awesome, right? Oh no, I put the image too high and ran out of space. Oh. Thanks for the hints. I posted a print screen in Discord, so anyone willing to give critique, I will be happy. Yeah, everyone who would like to give Elusive some feedback, feel free to do so. If I have enough energy after the stream, I maybe can take a look, but otherwise I will do it tomorrow. Thanks. Yeah, it's tricky. I'm not at the point where I need as much feedback on the drawing part itself, but more so the whole designing part. Yeah, I understood what you meant. I totally get you, Celine. You see, like, designing and coming up with an interesting and like unique design is really freaking hard. That's the hardest part of everything. Like learning to make a pretty image and to paint and to use a 3D program is way easier and way quicker to achieve, in my opinion. Where do you commonly grab your reference? Hey Ben, welcome to the stream, by the way. Usually everywhere. Google Images, Pinterest. There's also this new thing, which is called Same Energy. It's basically www.same.energy.com, and it's a visual search engine, and it's combined with Pinterest, and I would say it's more an additional thing to Pinterest, but you have a lot of images compiled, and when you write tree, for example, you get tons of tree images, and it automatically leads you to all the images you can find. I find a lot of images there. I can't open it now because otherwise my stream maybe will crash, but it's basically www.same.energy.com, like that. And I think it's pretty new. I'm not sure, but I just heard from it a couple of weeks ago. And what I also like is Lightshot. Lightshot is pretty good. It's something you can download. It's for screen capturing. but it also has a search function. So it's like a how you say, like an image search function. It runs through Google, and then you can get additional references. It's pretty nice. Oh, I'm getting slower and slower. Let's go. Right. So let's draw this part out here. Is that corner here? We can basically follow this perspective here. And again, if you want to learn perspective, what I definitely would recommend is like building stuff in a 3D program, because you get really a good you get a good sense for form. And I need to say that really one good thing of my college time is we had to do a lot of building stuff in 3D. That can be it. Okay. Give it a clear overlap. Also, to the topic of perspective, when I started learning drawing, my first tutorial I ever bought was a Nomen DVD, which was about perspective, and it was so freaking dry, but I learned so much and I still remember the lessons. Like stuff like using the X method to find the middle part of a plane and translating planes into perspective. That's still stuff I learned in this class, which I still remember. So again, really not here the point of making a pretty drawing, just trying to get the ratios right. And also what seems to be that like those houses are always built on a stone base. So they have this stone base, I don't know what's called, base or base part, and everything on top is wooden or out of wood. There's also a little overlap. Now we're just slowly subtracting stuff from the drawing. also erase that stuff here. Where do you? Oh no, we had this already. That's sick. I just went on same energy and it's a mess of good info. Keep your stream alive. Is this for a brainstorm class or personal project? It's for a personal project. I took Eric's perspective bootcamp. It was a really good learning experience on breaking down things in perspective. Yeah, I heard good things about Eric's class. I also would always recommend perspective as a first class when you start your journey, because it's just like you need it in every circumstance. And also drawing is like the most important skill. And you need to understand perspective in any situations. If you paint, if you draw, if you build stuff, it's always important to know perspective. So let's continue with it. Hey, the chap, welcome to the stream and thanks for the follow. Hey, 410HA, welcome to stream. And yes, I'm from Germany. Where are you from? Do I have a dialect? Damn, I try to really work on that, but where are you from? So viele Deutsche, ja. Können wir doch fast einen deutschen Stream machen. Dann fällt mir das Reden auch gleich viel leichter. Muss ich nicht so viel denken. Ich kann das Artikulationslevel ein bisschen hochschrauben. No, I'm just kidding. I would continue to do that in English. Yes, I work in Germany. I'm living and working in Berlin. And you, where are you from? It's really interesting, the paneling. I have to read it up. What's the proper reason of that? Because to me it seems a little bit inefficient, but yeah, it looks fancy. Hallo, mein kleiner Zucker. Mein kleines Zuckerle. Ach ja, wenn du in Straßburg lebst, dann sprichst du ja wahrscheinlich auch gut Deutsch, ja. Ah, da hattest du ja mal erzählt, Celine. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's okay if I speak German between Baden-Württemberg. Oh. How's the weather in Baden-Württemberg? It was pretty cold in Berlin the last couple of days. We had sun, but it wasn't nice. I wonder if this part here is love to detail or if it's lack of building. So many questions. It's good that it was no more snow anymore. Do you like snow? I mean, I don't mind, but like in a city, like in Berlin, it's get like very gray very fast when you have snow. And then if you have dirty snow, it's not nice. You love snow? Why do you love snow? Ah, okay. Yeah, I see. I think you told me that once, right, Celine? I always forget that. I'm sorry. Where are you living now, Celine? Roduci, how hot is it in North Algeria? Alle aus dem Süden hier. 'Cause you can just hit people with snowball. Okay, that's a good reason. Hey Oleg, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. How long you expect to work on this ideation phase in a studio environment? Do you mean how long we generally work in a studio on ideation phase, or how long I will work on that stuff here? In terms of studio, it really depends on how much time they scheduled for blue sky phase. Blue sky means early development stage, where you have all the freedom to explore stuff. But most of the stuff, obviously in a studio, everything is with a budget, with a time budget also, but mostly a financial budget, which means I don't know. It really depends. It depends. I think the bigger the project, the more time you have for blue sky. And if it's just a feature, then maybe it can be less. As in, if you were assigned this as a project for a game film, how much time would you expect to have? If you were assigned this as a project for a game film, how much time would you have? How much time I would have for like coming up with the idea and then making design drawings, or do you mean if I have, for example, like I don't have time at work to make any studies. That's not calculated. So it's not calculated that I take extra time and make studies of something and then take my time, make a nice drawing of a house, architecture, whatever, and then do another study and look at stuff and, I don't know, twist my hair in between, look at the blue sky and all the birds. It's very tight, so you get time, but you get time for research, finding references, but you have a very quick ideational phase, and then you start working all stuff. 18 degrees. 18 degrees? That's warm, but it's kind of nice, Roducci. It's not that hot, right? I think everything until... I think 18 is actually the perfect weather. Like 25 can be warm already. But 18, I think it's nice. I live in the western region of France now, back at my parents' house, until I get into art school again. Oh, by the way, how's the process for your application, Celine? Is there any update yet? You're welcome. That's the stream for. If you have any questions, just ask. Ask until I fell asleep. If I can't do it no more. So let me do that on the extra layer here, so I don't have to erase too much. It could be about this. Now we can easily erase this here. So it's actually the equal space here. So if we use again the X technique, is basically drawing an X, then I can show it quickly. If you want to find out how this space here is looking here, it's very simple. Again, this part here is one plane. So what you do is basically you draw an X from one corner to another to find the midpoint, and then you draw a line, a vertical line, but make sure that it is right in perspective. And then you also go for the horizontal line. It's not quite right. We have to make sure it's correct in perspective, like this. And now that, oh, it's still not right. Come on. It was a long day, okay? So like this. And now that we divided this plane, we can technically draw an X again in here. Draw another line. It seems complicated, but it's very simple actually. Then we do the same process again. And now we see like, okay, we did the same stuff again, which we then can do here. Follow the perspective again. And what we could do, we could technically draw again an X here, but we see, okay, it is basically a little bit under the half of this separation. So we now know like this is technically, when this is the half, that it's a little bit above. So it's around here. So this part is here. And then that's how you find the right proportion in perspective. I don't believe it feels super hot. Hey Dimi, welcome to the stream. How you doing, man? I miss you so much, bro. Stop fooling. Stop fooling me. How are you so good at characters, Dimi, huh? Can I ask you the same stuff? Yeah, so I got selected among 40 other students to get interviewed, which was yesterday. I'm gonna get a defined answer in 2 weeks. Oh, fingers crossed, Celine. Ich drück dir die Daumen. They only take 20 students out of 400 applicants. Wow. Which art school did you apply? Celine, Dimi was asking which art school you applying again. I think it was Sin Studio, right? now we can mark this here, so we now know this is the right mark, and we just go straight here. Boom. All right. We can merge that boy. I actually can clean up the lines a little bit. That looks pretty dirty. But again, it's really a build-up process. What I really enjoy about this, oh, I see that that's not right here. What I really enjoy about this is like really carving form out. This has to come out furthermore. And this architecture looks so funky with all the support beams and everything. It's also interesting to see like that this doesn't go here, it goes under the roof part. Demi, are you still working? I hope not. Demi, Timo was asking if we maybe gonna go for a walk next week when he's in Berlin. Yes, exactly. Since Studios Concept Art Diploma. I didn't think I make the first round since I've only been doing concepts for like 4 months. So in a way it's already an achievement that I'm being considered. Yeah, yes and no, and I don't know what I'm answering right now. You work so much, Celine. Like I saw your progress, all the stuff you post in the art community, all the stuff you do. You constantly work. If they don't take you, it's their fault. I will blame them. I will send them a hate mail if they don't take you. No, but seriously, you work so much, and even in any case they don't take you, you still have the right attitude of working and enjoying the stuff you do, you know? Can I share my Instagram in here and maybe someone would take a look and critique? You know what? 410HA. You can join our art community, and we have a certain area just for critique where you can post all your artwork, and you can also share there your Instagram or whatever you want to share there, and then also can people follow you. Where are you looking? You're watching the stream on YouTube, so you just go on the YouTube banner, and on the lower right part there is a blue button. It's the Discord button, and then you can join our art community. It looks like a great art school. I haven't checked actually the website. Sin Studio. Celine, is it remote then? Because it's in Canada, right? Ooh, sweet. Instructors. Wow, they have really nice teachers. I hope they all are teaching. Oh, so many teachers, wow. Oh. Wow. They have really a lot of teachers. Great teachers also. Nice. Yeah, you know I don't drink, but I go for water then. Yeah, but let's meet up then. That would be awesome. Alright, let's finish that bad boy. This architecture is so funky, really. Yeah, and usually I don't want to take like longer than an hour for a study like that. I mean, yeah, we almost an hour in, so we should finish that soon, and then we can do another one maybe. Because we have a lot of other stuff to study. And the cool thing also, like when you start a project like that, you can, like, I already get different ideas for the designs already, just by studying this here. Seeing all the support beams, it could be pretty cool to do something really fancy. Okay, let's merge this. Yeah, I have to move. Oh, you have to move then. Okay. But then you have a good reason. Canada seems to be nice. What's his name? Pierre Ravenot? Ravenot? Sorry for my bad pronunciation. Yeah, they don't all teach on site. Some have been added while teaching online. It's very expensive, especially for us Europeans. For American standards, it's cheap. Since studio is great, I want to go there, but it's really expensive. I don't do a lot of character work, so I got a lot of feedback on that. It's always interesting to get the insight from different professionals. Yes,